Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching The Mandalorian. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching episode 5 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. The last episode, it was really cool to see Grogu escaping the temple. I don't know, maybe cool is not the word I should be using, but I'm happy that we saw it. I'm glad it's filling in blanks. Because that was always the question of how he got out of the temple, and for it to be Kellerman Beck, played by Ahmed Best, who was Jar Jar Binks. I recognize the name Ahmed Best, but I was just like, I don't know really what he's in, but I'm sure he's been in plenty of stuff that I liked. And I did not hate Jar Jar. I'm gonna throw that out there. Like, I've never hated Jar Jar. Like, he wasn't ever going to be my favorite character, but I didn't realize that Ahmed kind of had a lot of garbage thrown at him after those movies. I think that's really unfortunate because he seems like he's an absolute sweetheart of a man. And the thing that I didn't like about the prequels was the dialogue, not really the characters. Like, I don't think that there was really, it's just bad dialogue. That's the only problem I really had with the prequels. Now, there is a huge gap of time in between Kellerman taking Grogu from the temple and us finding him in the future. Or I say us, but the Mando finding him in the future. So I'm guessing he spent quite a bit of time with Kellerman Beck. I would like to see that whole adventure. I think that would be really kind of cool to see how he was taken care of in that time, because we also know that there was a little bit of a trauma that Grogu went through that made him kind of close himself off from the Force, or made him a little scared to show his Force abilities, especially with Ahsoka kind of giving us a little bit of that mind conversation that they had, Force mind conversation. So if there's more of a backstory that kind of can ramp up the rest of the season of just like the past of Grogu, because he's one of the oldest people in our group, right? He's 50 plus years old, so he's had already quite the life. I think it'd be really interesting to see all the adventures maybe he had before he met Mando, and even the stuff that has informed him to be who he is today. Because maybe he doesn't want to be around the Jedi for a particular reason, or he's choosing to be a Mando because of what happened at the temple, the trauma that came from that. So it'd be really cool to kind of see a little bit more of that. And I don't think that they bring back Ahmed Best specifically for one episode and one episode alone. I think that they're gonna really give him a lot of time to shine in the Star Wars universe. Now with Bo-Katan, she was instrumental in saving Ragnar and the whole search party going to get him and figuring everything out. She's a true leader, and she showed that. And I think that a lot of the other Mandos are very cautious to believe in anybody or in anything, because obviously Paz Vizsla was kind of there's no living waters, they were destroyed, and then there was proof that the living waters are still around. And to kind of not give Bo-Katan a chance, and then she really proved herself. But then I think it's really interesting as well that she's bringing up the mythosaur to the Armorer, who is 100% the person I would trust with that information. And at first, the Armorer's oh yeah, it's a beautiful vision. I think she was actually testing to see what Bo-Katan actually saw, or what her experience was. Because I don't think that the Armorer is nah, that didn't happen, I don't believe you, because she's definitely somebody who is neck deep in the religion and the lore and the mythology and all this stuff. And I don't think that she dismisses it as it didn't happen. I think she's interested in what Bo saw, but I think also she's she's like a therapist. She's not trying to say you're right, you're wrong, this is true, this is not true. She asks the questions to make Bo think no, I saw what I saw, it wasn't just a vision. And she's just mm-hmm. And that's what a good therapist does, is they just ask the questions, so you say the things out loud that are already ruminating in your brain, and it brings the truth out. And I think that the Armorer was just I want you to believe that you saw what you saw. Like, I don't want you to like have these questions, because that's why she's asking the armorer about it. Like, do you think that they really exist? Do you think that they're still around? Do you think that they were ever a thing? And the armorer's just like, what an interesting vision. It's like, no, it was real. That answers your question, Bo. It's real. I love that. I love that the armor also had the moment with Grogu, even though it included that sad flashback, but like that I kept calling it a chest plate. I forget what the real name of it is. Somebody had told me, but whatever it is it's really freaking cool. I feel like it's going to come in handy and probably save Grogu's life, maybe if somebody gets a little feisty with a blaster. I think that that's going to be something that like is there to protect him. And it's a mud horn, and it's the sigil of his clan of 2, maybe 3. I don't know. Well, no, Bo-Katan got the mythosaur, which I think was the fact that she has the night owl and the mythosaur. She's kind of combining the two of like her ideology and then the ideology of like, you know, the ancient Mandos that believed in the religion of not taking off your helmets and the living waters and the mythosaur and all that. I think she's becoming a believer. And I also think that Bo probably wants to try to do something a different way because all the ways that she's tried to like take over Mandalore, rule Mandalore, save Mandalore, bring Mandalore back has not worked for her. And you know what? This might be the way. Like, this is the way. So it might be the way that like she can actually, one, unite people, unite all the Mandos, to kind of get them to see like we need to come together to make this work. But then also for her to have a little bit of the belief in the histories and the mythology of it. And maybe she's not fully in, she's not neck deep like the armor, but like she's putting her toes in the water and she's kind of seeing how it feels, and she's exploring that. She's not dismissing it, which I think what she did in the previous season when she's talking to Din was definitely a dismissal of the whole thing. Like, nutbags, you guys are weirdos. What a cult. And now she's kind of like, wait a second. I've now seen proof that some of this stuff is real, that this stuff is true. And maybe it's the key to success in this. And maybe like if I have a little bit more belief in it, it will, because like we've seen like, you know, like Din, like he's just like, oh, thank God, like I'm redeemed, you know, and like what that does for him, like confidence wise. I also loved that we got kind of a little family moment, which again, I don't ship Din and Bo at all. Like, you don't have to have a love story. Like, can we just like leave that alone? But the fact that she kind of is like a little bit of like an older sister / mama bear a little bit for Grogu, you know, like having his like first like little test of fighting somebody, and it being the duel that like he had never used the wrist rocket thing or the dart thing, and she's like, oh my God, like he doesn't know how to do that. And Din had no problem. He's like, no, we're gonna be fine. It's all right. I keep seeing my camera flash. It's weird. Seeing him kind of overcome that challenge. I hope him and Ragnar can like become friends, and like I think this is great that he has a community where there's kids, because we saw in the other village community, like with all the kids, like how like he kind of needed that. The fact that he can't see their faces though, like again, the whole religion aspect of not being able to take your helmet off really bugs me, and I hope that that doesn't stick, because I want to see their faces. I want to see their expressions. I sound like that old guy that like during the pandemic when you'd wear a mask and he's like, lower your mask so I can see your smile. It's like, no. But I like want to see their faces, you know, like I would like to like see like Paz Vizsla's like face, like what does that voice and attitude look like under there? You know, a lot of the kids and everything, like I want to see them smiling when they succeed and like they're happy and proud of themselves. Like there's just like something about seeing somebody's face that like informs you of who somebody is. That's just how it goes. Okay, guys, I'm not going to waste any more time. I don't know if there's going to be anything about the cloning, about Dr. Pershing, about Elia, who I believe is a Jango Fett, Boba Fett, Omega clone somehow, some way. That's just, she looks too much like Tamora Morrison. It's just, Anyway. I don't know if we're going to get any of that. I don't know if we're going to go back to Navarro, Space Pirates. I can only guess. I don't know what's happening with IG-11. There's so many like little bits and pieces that are just out there that like we know nothing about, and then hopefully like it just kind of comes together. Okay, guys, let's get into it.
I defeated Moff Gideon, but he was sent off to the New Republic for interrogation.
Was
He
he?
will face justice for his crimes.
Will he?
We drink here.
That is a school now.
I forgot, it was
Oh,
your cut of my boss's
are we gonna
treasure.
go back with the pirates in this episode? All right. Are we gonna see Moff Gideon? Your lack of faith is disturbing. It's nothing to do with faith. How about space pirates? Are we gonna see space pirates? I sense something. I think that's a mild yes. Okay, I'm happy to be back in Navarro. Poor IG, still taken apart.
We're going to be moving a lot of cargo in and out of here. Hold on a
Pirates.
second.
Yep. It's a cool ship, though.
You get the citizens to safety. I'll handle this. Engineers, thank you. To be continued.
I like seeing grief like this, though. Space Swamp
William
Thing.
Shard. Believe your ears then.
Ooh.
And don't mistake my hospitality for weakness.
Is that what you call gunning down my helmsman in cold blood? When he let down his guard on your planet?
He shot first.
Well, now I will shoot first.
Are you sure that's a good idea? I thought you...
Don't hail me again unless it's to surrender.
E. Whoa! Whoa! They're just firing on innocent people?
I will lead you to the launch site.
He's
won't
not.
abandon my
Yeah.
city.
He's not gonna
We
ban him.
have to get the people to safety.
Call the Mandos. Oh, imagine if the Mandos took up camp again in Navarro. That would be amazing. Especially because their beach is not safe. I like the music. I really like the music. This is what they do in their off time. I love it. You never get to see this. Oh, this guy.
Can I use your viewer? Thank you.
Just out in the open. It's like people talking on speakerphone.
Too bad. I really thought Navarro was gonna make it.
I'm gonna forward this to Coruscant. Request permission to intercede. Then I'm just
Looks
gonna
like
have
the
to
guy
go there
from
and talk to
Rebels.
them myself.
I forgot the name of like the alien that he is, but he looks like the guy from Rebels. Now I can't remember his name either because like I'm flummoxed. I love that we're getting I guess a rebellion pilot journey adventure. I mean, this whole thing fails obviously, but it's cool to see.
Do not put any more stuff on that part of the desk. That's my work area.
Tim Meadows, is that his name? I forget.
Have you ever heard of Navarro?
I have. Spent some time there, in fact. They have yet to sign the charter.
I like that he's curious about her.
I don't think that this is an isolated episode. Navarro has reported accounts of stormtroopers in the streets. The citizens speak of Moff Gideon occupying the town, and now a pirate king is attempting the same thing? These events could all be connected.
I think that's a bit of a leap.
Oh god.
Perhaps the leaders of Navarro need to understand why becoming a Republic signatory is valuable.
By letting them suffer. Sounds like a rather imperial way of thinking.
Yep.
It often takes a new perspective before one is able to see the light.
You and your sort didn't see the light. You were captured.
And forced into it.
I was liberated.
Tiva's my new favorite character. Love him.
And by the time it becomes big enough for you to act, it'll be too late.
I love him. Go call Mando. I don't know if he has his phone number. I don't know how that works. What is up with you? How does he know to come here to find Mando? Oh, maybe because he tagged the ship, the N1, so he knows where to find it? Or does Mando have the N1? What is it? Just no, I don't know what's happening. Where is the N1? I have no idea how this connection happened.
Captain Carson Teva, Adelphi Rangers. I have a time-pressing matter to attend to.
Ooh.
You're out, little boy.
That guy comes walking towards you. Yikes.
How did you manage to find us? Mandalorians pride ourselves on our secrecy.
Yeah, spill.
Fortunately, someone I served with in the rebellion is amongst your ranks.
Bo-Katan.
Thanks, R5.
Really? I love
The
that.
entire covert will now have to relocate.
Or we could kill him.
Relocate to Navarro.
Grief Karga sent this holo message.
Easy. Easy.
Look, it's not your fight. I just came to tell you your friend is in danger, and I thought you should know.
This is so manipulative. Who knew R5 would be the key to that connection?
Now, many of you don't know Grief Karga, and those that do fought against him when you rescued me from his ambush. I stand before you to petition an intervention, to help rescue Navarro before it's too late.
Oh, I can't wait to see all these people in action. It's going to be amazing.
Perhaps it is time for us to live in the light once again, on a planet where we are welcome, so our culture may flourish, and our
Yes.
children can feel what it is to play in the sunlight.
Is that a gavel? Is that why he was holding it?
Does anyone else wish to speak?
I do.
Of course, Paz Vizsla has something to say. Grumpy Gus.
I fought against Grief Karga and his hunters. I saw many die to save the life of this one tiny foundling.
Wasn't it worth it?
Why should we lay our lives down yet again? Because we are Mandalorians. I have had my disagreements with this man, but he risked his life to save my son. And Bo-Katan Kryze did not give up on my child's life, even when the rest of us did.
I adore this. I thought for sure he'd just be like grumpy.
If everyone acts as they should, we can use the element to surprise and defeat an enemy that outnumbers us.
I hope. I mean, my money's on them.
You lived there once, hiding in the sewers. But now, you can be heroes.
Bo-Katan is what we've needed on this show so much. Oh, God. Unnecessary. I hate pirates. I hate them.
There's a starfighter off our port bow.
I still don't know how I feel about Gorian Shard and like being like a swampy swamp thing.
Careful, my friend. They've got you outnumbered 10-1.
I like those odds.
Yeah, he does.
You do.
Oh, this ship is so cool though. I don't want them to destroy it, but at the same time, like, they need to get the hell out.
First team, prepare to drop. First team away.
Everybody come and look. What if IG-11 just pops out all of a sudden and just starts taking some pirates out? Look at Mando.
Tell Vane and the fighters to reform for a counterattack.
They're pursuing the Mandalorian.
Then bring them back.
You won't get away this time. Right.
Oh, I love when they do this stuff.
Starfighter's a decoy. There's a secondary attack. Regroup with the Corsair.
Oh, I thought for sure he'd keep pursuing. He's letting him know. Oh my gosh, who knew that'd come in handy? Thankfully, these pirates aren't a good shot. Goodness. I would love if IG-11 just popped out right now. Or Paz Vizsla shows up to take care of business. Nice. I love watching them in action.
Engaging the gauntlet.
What's the gauntlet? Nice.
He's above you! He's below you!
He's everywhere. Oh. I love the armorer when she starts fighting and she gets into the action. She's amazing. And I love how she uses smelting tools as her weapon of choice. I'm trying to destroy the town that you're trying to save. Nice!
Been a pleasure serving you, Captain. But it's time to part ways.
You coward.
Hey, you coward!
Exactly.
In a puff of pig's eye. Open fire below!
No!
Targeting the townspeople.
Focus fire on their last engine.
But it's over top of the town. Oh, it's behind it. Wow. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I really thought IG-11 was gonna pop out and take care of business.
From this day forward, I, Magistrate Grief Karga.
Hi, Magistrate, sir.
Hi, Magistrate. Hereby cede all land from the western lava flats to Bullock Canyon to the fine people of Mandalore. You may no longer have a home planet, but you do now have a home. Welcome.
Yay! Din Djarin changing the Mandalorians forever. What is this about? I feel like she's in trouble.
Remove your helmet.
What?
But remove your helmet.
How does... What's happening? How can she ask her to do that? Perfect hair.
We must walk the way together. All Mandalorians.
Is she gonna take off her helmet in front of everyone?
I was taught that the mythosaur existed only in legends. And yet, you saw it.
Yeah.
It is a sign that the next age is upon us. Mandalore must all come together. You have walked both worlds. You are the one who can unite us.
Agreed. What if all the helmets come off in this episode and I was just talking about that? I'm so nervous.
But she shows her face.
Bo-Katan walks both worlds. She can bring all tribes together.
Yes.
It is time to retake Mandalore.
Yay! Please don't let anything happen to him. Is that an Imperial ship? Is that Moff Gideon's ship?
There's a record of a missing craft in the region. The details are classified.
R7, launch probe.
I mean, obviously he's not going to be in there, but...
I'll be damned. Flight times match the ship transporting Moff Gideon.
Yep.
I knew it. It's a fragment of Beskar alloy.
Are you saying that Moff Gideon was taken by Mandalorians?
Maybe. Just not those Mandalorians. Peter Ramsey, good job. Okay, I was looking up who Zeb from Rebels was. Lasat, that's what he is. It was Tim Meadows. Okay, cool. I thought it was. I was like, oh my god, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna feel stupid. Okay, so of course, right when we get like this like big dramatic, like we're gonna bring all the Mandalorians together, most likely the Mandalorians that have left Bo-Katan behind are the ones that took Moff Gideon. Or it's a trap. Or it's like a setup. I could totally see Elia extracting Moff Gideon or like somebody that's associated with her and them just going like, let's just leave this here. So it could be either or. It could be that the Mandalorians are actually responsible for taking Moff Gideon, or it's a setup. Definitely Elia, like being present in that moment when Teva is, talking to someone from the New Republic and asking for help on Navarro. I was just like, wow, that's a convenient place for her to be. I'm still wondering what her involvement is with Moff Gideon and really why, like what does she like really believe in his cause or whatever, because she could have a brand new life. She certainly doesn't seem to want that. And so I still am kind of like stuck on this thing that like she looks like the clone troopers. So I'm thinking that like she's a clone of some sort. The fact that she knew Navarro is interesting, and like you saw Teva kind of like look at her like little badge and everything. Obviously, if she knew Navarro and Moff Gideon was part of the whole, siege of Navarro or protection of Navarro, I'm not quite sure what how to correlate Moff Gideon with them other than like what happened on Navarro with Moff Gideon. But like I'm sure he's putting two and two together. He's a very smart man. He's probably like one of my new favorite characters. I'm like, I like this guy. And I know he's been around for other episodes, but we really haven't gotten like a lot from him. And like this one, like it focusing on him and like him going and doing this thing on Coruscant and then going to find the Mandalorians and warning Mando. R5 being the key to that. Like I was like, oh, he knows Bo-Katan. Oh, like he's tracking the N1. Oh, like none of that was even remotely close. Obviously, R5. Who knew? He came in handy. That was lovely. There was too much feel-good emotions for me because, like, not too much in the sense I'm mad at it, but, like, I know that, like, it's gonna, like, then create a lot of conflict, like all the Mandos deciding to come together to go fight Navarro and Paz Vizsla, like, kind of just saying, like, Greef Karga did this and we risked it all for this like little foundling and that's the Mandalorian way. And I was like, yes, like re-energized, and them taking Navarro back, like beautiful thing. The armor and Bo-Katan having their moment of like, we need to bring all the Mandos together and you're the key, you're the person that can do this. Letting her walk both ways and being in both worlds and her having her helmet off. I would love that if they all decided to do that. Because I can't imagine that both of the I guess covens, clans, all of the coverts coming together. I feel like they're gonna clash like a lot with like their belief system. So if everyone can kind of compromise a little bit, it can definitely bring them closer. I thought for sure that the armor would be like, and we're gonna show like a little bit of camaraderie here, so I'm gonna take off my helmet. That would have like just made my whole world, because I don't want them to have to feel like they have to leave their helmets on. Plus it has to get really smelly in there. Anyway, so like you have all this like coming together to fight the pirates, and then coming together to rebuild Mandalore, and coming together to save Navarro, to unite a Navarro and have that be their new home. And of course I'm like, it's all going to go to shit at some point. So obviously the little piece, the Beskar, just screwed up everything. Especially getting the New Republic involved. So then the New Republic could definitely be against the Mandalorian, which does not help because like you can't have like this new superpower that obviously fails. So they're not like that great at doing their jobs. But because if the First Order can happen, then the New Republic sucks. I'm interested to see where it goes and if they're able to. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Moff Gideon, like just holding him prisoner. I don't know if he actually escaped and he's free and it's a frame job. We only have 3 more episodes left, so they've got a lot of work to do in the next couple episodes. And I really thought IG-11 was going to pop up because they kept showing the Azelians and I was like all like excited about that. And then when Tiva was on whatever planet they were on, I don't think they gave us a name. But in the cantina, they had that guy walk up and I was like, oh my God, he reminds me of Zeb from Rebels. And I couldn't think of Zeb's name. But that he's a Lestat, and you don't really get to see those in the Star Wars universe because of what happened on their planet. And I don't know when that took place. I don't know if that planet has been destroyed yet or not, but what a great little thing to have in there. Like, it was so exciting to see an actual Lestat in like live action, which if we're getting a Lestat right now, that means that like we could get the full crew of the Ghost. We could get Hera. We could get Sabine. We could get Zeb, Chopper. Oh my God! Like, it's funny. Like, I'm excited for all these characters from Rebels to be in live action, and I think like the one that like I'm super excited for is Chopper, just because he's such a sassy robot. He makes like R2 like look like an angel. But like to get a live action Zeb is just insane. Like that like made me so happy to see. Like, it's happening, guys. It's happening. We're getting live action characters from Rebels. We're going to get them all. I didn't think we were going to get Zeb, and now I'm 100% sure we will. And if I'm wrong about any of that, I will feel very stupid, but I don't think that I am. I'll tell you, like I miss a whole bunch of shit from Clone Wars all the time in these shows, and like they'll show up in the Bad Batch, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. But like the stuff from Rebels, that is my jam. I loved that series. Everything about it. I think it is pitch perfect. Every little bit of it. Everything that you think doesn't matter. Like I said, Dave Filoni doesn't have filler. He doesn't just throw things out there just to like be there for entertainment value. Everything has a reason. So I'm really excited to see that kind of being injected into this. And I think it's going to take off in the Ahsoka series. I cannot wait for that. Oh my God. I could just start crying. I'm so excited. But it's nice that we know that the Mandos have a home. There's not a beach where there's like monsters that are picking people off repeatedly. And like, it just seems like you'd pick a better place other than right there. But I'm happy that they're on Nevarro. I'm happy that they are with other people. I'm excited to see where that goes. Them restarting the Forge, I think, is going to be very uplifting. them having a place for the covert to actually be and have a home and contribute to society, I think is going to be amazing as well. I'm happy to see the pirates taken down, except for Vane. He got away. What a coward. I'm sure that's going to come back at some point, but I don't think he's going to be like this deadly force. I like, that was an amazing like space. I guess it wasn't space, an aerial battle. It was really cool to see that. I always love when Din is flying around doing his thing, and in the N1, it's still new for me because I really miss the Razor Crest. But I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see Bo-Katan in action. And I'm really happy that like she's really the main focus of this season. She's really like the key that brings everything together. And I love that Din is always involved in everything, and it's typically successful, which I kind of don't like, because if everything's successful, then he's going to have a mission that just does not work out for him and it goes to complete shit. And it's going to be probably devastating. So like, I'm going to try to not be very comfortable about him having all these successes, but he certainly is the key to bring that covert and the coverts that Bo-Katan can possibly bring into the fold together. I think that he is, I think him and Bo-Katan are very much important keys to the success of the Mandalorians. And our Grogu, which there was not a whole lot of Grogu whatsoever, just a couple of times where he's just like, ee, ah, and like, that's great. Like, we don't need to have him be the focus of the show, because he's not the focus of the show. But it's definitely cute to see him when we do. I want to see him hanging out with the Anzellians. I think it'd be delightful. Okay, guys, if you want to watch the full-length reaction to this episode, it will be available on my Patreon, as well as the full-length reactions to all the previous episodes. But I'm thoroughly enjoying the series. It's not my favorite season, but definitely I'm loving Bo-Katan. Absolutely loving her and the Armorer, and this like relationship that they have. There's a lot of trust there. There's a lot of like it takes the women, I think, to bring these coverts together. And I'm not saying that to just like be a battle of the sexes, but like, I believe in them. Go girls, go girl team, girl gang, team up, make the shit happen. I'm excited for it. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Especially, did you think IG-11 was going to pop out? Because I would have put money on it that he was going to pop out and he was going to do the thing. He didn't. No big deal. Did you expect the Armorer to ask Bo-Katan to take her helmet off? I was like, oh no, like sabotage. But because I know like how the Armorer and like how her way of thinking, and how easy it was for her to just be like, Din Djarin, you're done. But like then she's telling Bo-Katan, yeah, go ahead and take the thing off. Like, let's unite the clans. Let's unite I keep calling them clans, but like let's unite the coverts. I did not expect that whatsoever. And it's funny because I was just like, are we gonna get Moff Gideon in this? Are we gonna get space pirates in this? And then the opening started, and I could see, I was like, oh, they're bringing up everything I was wondering. The only thing that I thought was for sure going to happen at the end is they were all going to be like, shh, and take their helmets off. I don't know if you guys thought that. But did you recognize the Lasat? Like, because immediately when I saw him, I was just like, I can't talk. I can't talk. But I was like, it's like Zeb from Rebels. What's his name? Oh my God, I couldn't think at all. But I was still super excited to see it. Okay, guys, 3 more episodes left of this season. They have got a lot of work to do to fill in some gaps in the story, and I'm sure they're just setting up next season, and they're probably also setting up Ahsoka, which I'm not mad at. I want more of it, but I always feel like 8 episodes is not nearly enough. But in the meantime, guys, I'll see ya.